boarded from our technology and lots of other issues, but I think we've got that resolved. And so my name is John Hogan. With me, I've got Vince Fullerton. We are the team behind the Made in Michigan movement. It was a group that was actually started up 12 years ago, Vince. Does that
12
sound
years ago.
about right? Yeah,
Yep.
by a friend of ours, Neil Yarmachek. And I know that Neil is occasionally on the group, so I wanted to just give a shout out to Neil. But we are working on putting together a series, and this will be the first part of it, to help Michigan businesses not only get through the current whatever you would like to call this time period, to not only get through it, but to grow with it. We see great promise, great opportunity, and what we want to do in this series of webinars is to show you how Michigan businesses can grow. And so today, Vince is going to be presenting 5 tips on, and he'll talk about it in a little bit. But in the meantime, if you are part of the Made in Michigan movement, if you're not, we would advise you to get on there. We are trying to revamp it so that it becomes more inclusive of companies, adding in directories, adding in a few other elements so that we can give you guys visibility. And at some point, we'd love to hear your ideas of what you would like to talk about and what you would like to either have presented to you, or even if you would like to present. We are constantly looking for new ideas and for people to be able to jump up and be part of this. And that's how, as a community, we grow, is the fact that everyone participates and everyone has a voice. And right now, Vince and I have this time to give our voice, but we would love to have more people give their voice out to everyone, with ideas and with ways to not only see their business in Michigan and use the Made in Michigan brand as something that everyone can use, but also that we continue to grow outer businesses in this time where there's great upheaval. And so, but let me go ahead and turn it over to Vince, and he is going to get started. In the meantime, there is in chat, we are taking questions. Right now, we are on 6 different platforms, from Facebook to what did I say? Facebook, YouTube. I'm on Periscope. I'm on
G-Live.
Yep, D-Live, and even others. If you want to know how to do this, let us know that. This isn't something that's difficult, but it's pretty powerful to be live across, for us, we can be live across 35 different platforms. And so this just becomes bigger and bigger. But with that, I'm going to turn it over to Vince, and he can go ahead and get started.
Thanks, John. Yeah, so basically started off, we wanted to talk the rudimentary fundamentals of how to conduct business, I guess. And one of the first things that comes to mind, and it's something that I've been involved in for many years, is payments and more specifically payment services, and how you accept money, especially how you accept money now in the new economy that seems to have sort of evolved here in the last 6-7 months now, especially with coronavirus, which is a bad word, but in some sense it could be a good word. But it's also a good time to take a look at how you're doing business and how you're taking money and how you're accepting money at that point. And my business for the last now 13, 14 years has been payment services, and specifically when it comes to online and retail, how you accept it, cash, credit card, debit card, and even we've had customers who set up barter systems and to figure out how to way to account for the bartering systems as well. So I've worked in this field for over 13 years now. And within the internet space, I've worked for over 20 now, starting with a data center that I started in the mid 90s. And so sort of got a handle from the beginning to now of payment acceptance on online and in retail as well. So that being said, I think that the first slide is up, if I'm not mistaken. John, is that correct? Are we good? Are we good to go with? So if we that, and so basically, I wanted to talk about payments and how that works, and how and what you should be looking for too as well. Feel free at any time to chime in with any questions, and see if you feel free to just chime in. Anyways, there's no set format to this. We're just starting off. Any suggestions are 100% welcome and encouraged here. So basically, thank you to the Made in Michigan movement again. Everybody involved in it, everybody taking the time to check in with us once in a while and see what's going on and what's new, and all the exciting new stuff that we are putting together and trying to get all of you to help us put together too as well and join in. So that being said, accepting payments and choosing a payment processor, possibly, and if you're looking at cutting costs or finding new ways to extend your reach and attract more customers. If you're not accepting credit cards, debit, or checks at this point, it may be something to consider. But that being said, it's a very important decision to make because everybody's using cards, especially now with their cashless economy is going cashless even more so now with the virus, because no one's wanting to touch that money like they used to, like the cash money. We've got the coin shortages, so people are just loading up debit cards and having direct deposits to their cards and ending up going that way. So on the business side, that can mean quite a bit. It can mean up to 2.5% to 3% plus of your revenue when you're looking at accepting credit cards. And ultimately, well, things are changing now, but the the merchant absorbs the cost of that, and the only way to pass that on to the merchant is now they've got some programs that allow you to do a surcharge, which is more of a discounting program. I can get into that at a later time, but every business needs to accept cash, credit, debit cards to survive. Regardless of how you accept payments, you need to address that. Currently, there's about 400 million plus credit card accounts in the United States and growing steadily. There's no way to avoid having a merchant account for your business. Your customers will dictate that, or you will limit business to you. To within your within it accounts for more than 40% of business on a small end. Even a small retail accounts for over 80 to 90% of businesses that do most of their business online, and 100% of their business, 100% for the business is online. So picking the right merchant processor is not always easy. There's quite a few of them out there. A lot of them like to take advantage of either first time account holders. And what a merchant account is basically it's it's a hook into accepting Visa, MasterCard, Discover, American Express at your retail, at your checkout, whether it be online or whether it be at your cash register. In order to do that, you have to have a partnership with a processor, which then in turn has a partnership with a large funding bank. Processors come in all shapes and sizes. Their objective, they get what's called interchange rate, so they get like a market rate, and they will mark it up in order to make their money. Local banks usually charge they charge a lot, and they have less knowledge of the products because their core is lending and basically depository accounts. And so generally speaking, if you do have a merchant account with your local bank, if you look at your statements or get comparative pricing, I always encourage people to go out and get 2, 3, 4 quotes, and always stay current on it. You'll find if you compare, you're gonna find you're probably being overcharged. And to put into perspective, an average size business grosses, retail run $1 million a year, typically, like a restaurant store. It could be more, but to put it in perspective, with savings, every percentage point is $10,000 per million. So if your gross is $1 million and you're overpaying by even 1% on your merchant account, you're spending $10,000 extra that you're paying a year. So it adds up quite quickly for especially for restaurants. A lot of my restaurant clients have now switched to something that's called a cash discount, which is a surcharge which wasn't allowed by law for a long time, but now for regular retail, you're allowed to charge a surcharge, which basically takes that 3%, upwards of 3.5% for reward cards, and allows you to offer a cash discount to your customer of that 3% should they pay cash. If they do not pay cash, then that surcharge will be added to their bill, thereby taking the burden of that. Again, 2.5% to 3.5% is generally the range that you'll see that it's charged on top of it, plus a per transaction. Those go away with the cash discount program, and you pay a flat fee. And many processors offer it. If you have a processor that you're working with, or a bank, you ask them about the cash discount program. If not, you can always someone can contact John or I, and we'd be happy to help you get started or point in the right direction for that. Again, your local banks are most of the people. The turnover on everybody selling those is there's no training, there's no customer service for the most part, and they charge quite a bit because it's not really a product it's not a discount product for them. So it's good to find yourself a good processor, a good agent that can help walk you through the process. It's like an insurance agent, but actually, I consider it more important because the core of your business is taking money. If you can't take money, you're not in business. So you got to focus on service as well as pricing. Cheaper is not always better. That's it's good to save money, but it's also good to make sure you've got a stable solution as well that will stay up, especially for online, because online running into chargebacks, if your solution's not stable, it can cause problems. They can hold up your money. Knowing your processor and having a good relationship with your processor, being able to talk to them is very important. It's going to become more important now that everybody's going to online, moving 20 to 30% of their business online now, with the new, I call the new economy. Unfortunately, it came on the heels of the virus, but it's a good time to put some things into perspective. Anyways, moving on. picking your payment provider. How do you pick a payment provider? What are you really looking for? It's not always not like I said. It's not always easy. The local bank is going to just charge you whatever their cut sheet has on there, which generally is quite a bit. There's quite a few pricing models that you can go into that you can structure around your business, and most of the time local banks don't do that. They just slap you in whatever. It's a standardized cookie cutter thing, and there's not. It's not that they're trying to take money from people. It's just that's a product. There's no negotiation. There's no personal service within there. So, and you have to find one that fits the services of your industry too as well. You're different, like a retail account for card present, which we have card present, card not present. The risk is significantly lower with a card present for chargebacks or returns or issues, disputes that come up with the bank there that can delay your funding from the bank because a customer has an issue with it. So you have to find an account that knows your business model and is able to accommodate. Some businesses are higher in risk. Anything online is high risk because anyone at any time ordering from you as a merchant can go back up to 180 days back and dispute that charge, even if they have the product in hand. And generally, the bank will 70% of the time will reverse that charge, and you're responsible for paying. You're responsible for taking care of it between you, and it puts now the responsibilities between you and the ultimate customer that had bought it from you. So they may still have your product, and if you get too many of those, the bank could see you as a high risk. And if they don't know your business model or you don't have a good relationship with them, they can and sometimes do shut your account down. It leaves you sort of in a pickle because you don't have anywhere to process. That can be handled by going across a gateway and having two accounts if needed, but that's a whole other story. Generally, someone only needs one account. For low risk businesses, you're looking at low risk businesses are fairly simple, and the card present, which is like a restaurant, anywhere where someone swipes a card within the machine. That's the pricing on that can usually be very, very low. Online, it varies. Always do your shopping. Again, John and I are knowledgeable in that. We can point you in the right direction if needed. Few things to know when you're going into it. Every new credit card, some of the typos I have here, issued these days have an EMV chip, and that's. But not all point of sale equipment is able to accept the EMV chip, which leaves you exposed to the EMV chip as a security measure. You probably noticed the little thing they've added to the credit card, and it looks like a little square and smack dab in the middle of your credit card. That's used to encrypt and end to end verify that you're making the payment. But a lot of equipment needs to be updated for that. Most people have already gone through the update or been sold the equipment. I always recommend to people to buy their equipment if they can. Renting it tends to be, they charge hundreds of dollars a month for equipment that's $100, $200. So, you've paid it off. You've paid it off in the first month or two. And there's really no cost savings in that. Also, if you're not doing it already, consider Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, Google Pay. Always good. Ensure your PCI compliance. The payment card industry has a compliance standards that basically make sure that your machines are up to date, encrypted. Your website has a proper encryption, end to end, so no one's data gets compromised. If you're not PCI compliant, you are and can be liable for any losses that are incurred due to faulty or old equipment. Meaning, if your equipment's old and someone swipes a card, you may be liable for not having updated equipment. And that's generally processors. If you're not PCI compliant, it's another charge to look for. They'll charge you up to $80 a month for not being compliant. Have a winery that I work with. It has been going back and forth and their compliance, and they were paying for about 6 months. They're paying $80 a month. So that's something to look out for. It adds up very quickly. Every company you got to renew your PCI compliance certificate yearly through the merchant company. Generally, they offer it for free. Sometimes it's a $20 scan fee because they're using a third party. Don't be too surprised if they have. It doesn't mean the merchant company is bad if they're charging you $20, $30 for it. It just means that they're passing along the cost, possibly to help you save money on the back end. If they're a good company, they'll disclose all that. They're very transparent. Utilize all the API capabilities that they have. If you've got a merchant processor that has a gateway that you can integrate all your third-party stuff in your QuickBooks, whether using Shopify, WooCommerce, BigCommerce, Magento, you can automate things in your business that would take you way too many hours to do, especially if you're doing small. Like, there's a lot of small online retailers that I deal with that deal with smaller items, but high volume of small items. So they're constantly going out and sending stuff out. So keeping that on pen and paper, or even trying to keep that in spreadsheets and printing them out, it makes it more difficult. A good API will help you keep track of the orders that have come in, and it'll tie your banking, your gateway. So if there's been a refund, there's no discrepancy in your books when you're doing them. Or it'll reduce it. I mean, there'll always be discrepancies. There's no surefire way to make your books clean instantly. It's always, especially with retail. Other thing is, take the time to get quotes too. Start off by calling your merchant processor that you're working with right now. Don't be afraid to call them up and say, hey, look, I'm looking for better rates. And if they can't accommodate you, they give you the runaround. Call someone else. There's plenty of processors out there that are willing to have your business. There's that margin that they're working from between their costs, which is called interchange. It's market price. It's every bank, everyone pays it. It's what Visa and MasterCard and Discover set as their fees, and they allow the banks and processors to make money above that. So they live within those basis points there that they're adding on. So if they're overcharging you, you'll be able to tell very quickly by three. I always say 3 quotes, sometimes 4 if you can do it. Don't be afraid. You're not gonna insult anybody, even if it's the best friend that you have at the bank that's been doing your banking for a long time. They don't see. They don't see the money that you're losing. That's your money. So you might as well save all you can. Again, 0.5% is 50,000 per million, or 5,000 per million, and 1%'s 1% comes out to 10,000 million. That's a lot of extra inventory, or that's other resources you can hire, and it adds up quickly. So it's something to consider. It's hard for me to cover everything that I'd like to cover in this first one, but this will at least allow if there's any questions to come back and sort of circle back and cover anything that I missed, and I missed quite a bit, but this will give you a quasi-comprehensive overview of what you should look for in what you're doing. But pick more than one provider if you have a higher volume and you're higher risk. You don't have to just have one bank. If one bank has an issue and there's a dispute there, and something happens to where you get shut down, which happens more frequently than I'd like to even think about, because I deal with it on a daily basis with my clients, trying to get them set up. But if you have 2 providers on a higher volume, or higher risk account, you can save yourself a lot of headache with that. So that's something to think about too. Smaller, I generally recommend that for high volume. Even in a retail situation, it's a brick and mortar situation. It's not a bad idea to have a backup. It's a very affordable way to save your hide. Again, don't just focus on the discount rates. Some providers will have rates that have just blow your mind, but then there's the stuff that they haven't revealed that adds up. Again, a lot of that stuff's going sort of the wayside when it comes to in-person card present retail, especially if you're having the cash discount option is to your customers, because now that basically turns the table. You pay a flat fee of generally under $50 a month, and you pay no per transaction, and you're not paying any percentage anymore. So you pay a flat fee, and it turns it around, and what'll turn it around and charge that surcharge to your customer. So that's basically it for me. I mean, that's if there's any questions that anyone has, I'd be happy to field. And I hope you'll join us next time on one of our presentations that we have coming up. But I'll turn it back over to John if you have anything. John, your mic might be muted, buddy.
You know what? It was. And so that's why we had this long pause of me not being able to tell you and you not being able to answer any questions. So,
Yes.
well, let's just leave it at this then.
Tech God
So,
was with us today.
yes, I again appreciate those that jumped on with us. Looking to do this every week. My last comment was we'll do 5 tips to grow your business in the Michigan market, and 5 tips for marketing. And we look forward to being able to do this every week. If you would like to jump on here, we would also love to do a hot seat. Have you come on, talk about your business, and Vince and I get to ask you a couple of questions. Don't worry, it's not difficult, about your business, and so that everyone in the community can learn. So, anything else, Vince?
That's about it. This is we'll next time we'll have all the bugs worked out. Well, most of them.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will. So
that's the best part of the whole thing. Playing with the technology, fighting it.
Exactly. It's the idea that we're constantly learning, and hopefully that's what we're bringing to you: more knowledge and something for you to take advantage of, something that improves your business every day. So, again, thank you, Vince, for a great presentation, and thank you for those who have joined us. And we look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.